Ами, здравейте! Здравейте отново и с последната презентация. Както виждате, последната презентация сме запазили за най-красивите дами днеска. Те ще представят и един от най-интересните университети в Рим, бизнес училище, което има доста така интересни програми на английски език, които вярвам, че ще бъдат от полза. Информацията, която ще получите, ще бъде от полза. Отново да подсета всички въпроси да се задават в чат-бокса, за да бъде по-лесно и на моите колеги в това да преценят какви са въпросите ви и да могат да отговорят по-лесно на тях. Well, I think you can leave one more minute and start your presentation.
All right, perfect.
Maria, actually, you can start your presentation.
Okay. All right. So, well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. Thanks, guys, for being here. I obviously do not know what you said, but I'm sure it was a great introduction. So I'm going to share my screen so you guys can have a look. Just give me a sec. All right. Okay. So a few words about myself. My name is Maria. I work at the International Orientation Office at LUISS University in Rome. My job consists in talking to you guys, getting to know our students, understand whether we are a good fit for each other and how you would perform being at our university and how our university could help you develop your dreams and your career. Today, with me, there is also one of our ambassadors, Aida, which I thank for being with us. And she's going to share a little bit about her experience being a LUISS student, studying at LUISS and collaborating with our office as well. So the overview that I'm going to give you, it's a very general one. Obviously, at the very end of the presentation, if you have questions, we will do our best to answer them. All right, so first of all, who we are. So LUISS is a private university specialized in social sciences. We are based in Italy, of course, in Rome, in the very, very center of the city of Rome. The university was funded in the late 70s by Confindustria, which is the largest confederation of Italian companies and enterprises, meaning that the university has a very, very close relationship with the corporate world and really can help students get, with the right foot into the job market. But we will talk about this a little bit later on in the presentation. So I don't know if you guys are familiar or not with rankings, but if you are not, this is my first suggestion, it's actually very important to get to know them. At least the main international ones is good to have an idea. Getting into a university that is well positioned into the international rankings really helps you afterwards, once you graduate, to find the job that you want. So regarding LUISS, we rank first in Italy among private universities, according to Il Sole 24 Ore, which is the main national ranking. The Department of Political Science is in the top 50 on the QS World University ranking. So obviously it's something we are particularly proud of. The Department of Business and Management is in the top 100 of the Financial Times. And we have an accreditation which is called EQUIS, which is a very, very, very tough one to get. Only 1% of the business schools worldwide have it. As you can see on the Financial Times, we're also ranked third in career progress. And this is obviously connected with the relationship that we have with Confindustria, as I was saying at the beginning of the presentation. So I mentioned that we are a social science university. So obviously we are quite fond of numbers. I will try not to get you bored, but just to give you an idea of who we are and how we're structured. So the university has 4 departments. the Department of Economics and Finance, Business and Management, Political Science and Law. We are considered to be a middle-sized university because we have less than 10,000 students. So we want to keep it that way. Being a smaller university, a middle-sized university, allows us to support you. So the student-professor ratio is 7:1, which means that you always have access to the faculty. And the kind of relationship that we build with our students and within our students is a kind of community, so that you are not just a number. We know you very often. We also know your families. We really want you to feel supported and know that there is always someone there to help you. We have an abandonment rate of 0%. This is very much connected with the system, the structure that the university has developed, especially in terms of tutors. I will go into details about this a little bit later on, but I just wanted to share this number to make you understand, again, that you have here all the support that you may need. I think that to understand who LUISS is, one of the two things that you definitely have to keep in mind is that the university bases upon two big concepts of columns. One of them is the internationalization process that we started a few years ago. Now it's been more than 5. And you can see this in terms of the student body, so the nationalities represented on campus, but also in terms of faculty. Also, the faculty members come from pretty much everywhere around the world, and mostly through the agreements that we have developed with universities worldwide. So right now we have about 55 double degrees, which basically are degrees that allow you to get 2 or more degrees at the end of your bachelor or master program. And we have about 300 agreements with universities in 64 countries. So this means that, of course, for you guys, coming to Italy would already be quite international. But for us, it's important that you have all the opportunities that we believe can really increase your chances afterwards to get the job of your dreams. And so being an even more international profile definitely helps you. On the other side, the other big column that I was mentioning is definitely represented by this relationship that we have with the corporate world. You can see this in the average months that take our students to get their first job after graduation, which is only 2 months. And 94% of our alumni are fully employed within 1 year from graduation. So, I mean, the step there is quite quick. We do have a career services on campus that can help you. They can help you from scratch if needed. If you have never made a CV, they can obviously help you with that, or they can review your CV based on the company you want to work in. We obviously have career fairs, so job fairs on campus. We're very lucky. We have 4 beautiful campuses, so there is quite a lot of space. And this is a very good way for you guys to then, get to know the companies, maybe new ones that you didn't hear about, but that then, open your path towards the job market. We are a private university, so this obviously means that in terms of services, we have and offer pretty much everything that you can think of. If there is something that we don't have and you let us know your need, we really, really do our best to make it possible for you. So obviously I don't think it's the case of the students here today, but just in case someone is from outside of the EU, we do help students with the visa process. So if you need that once you arrive, it's always a little bit tough when you arrive to a new country to adjust, and understand how the rules are. So we have an office which is called Welcome Desk, whose job is only to help students once they arrive to Rome to, settle in and understand how the city is run and what they have to do, especially in terms of residence permit. All the people like me working at the international offices at LUISS, we all have had international experiences also as students when we were studying. So we know that there are few things that students tend to have troubles with, and one of them is definitely the accommodation. This is why we try to develop different services to help all of you. So if you are interested in staying in one of our dorms, we do have residences that are completely 100% managed by the university. You can apply for them. Most of the rooms are double. But you can also ask for a single room, and we do try to allocate as many students as possible so that you have your place and you know where to go. If you do not feel very comfortable with the idea of being in a residence, in a dorm, you can also go through Casa LUISS, which is basically our real estate agency. Casa in Italian means home. They can help you find an accommodation in private apartments all around the districts where the campuses are. So also in that case, I mean, there is not too much to struggle. You just go online, they send you like links, you can look at the houses, the rooms. If you do want to come to Italy and just have a look at them, which obviously I strongly recommend, you can do so. But in any case, like everything is 100% guaranteed. Whatever you see online, it's actually going to be there once you do arrive to Rome. I mentioned a little bit earlier the tutoring service. So this is a very, very important part of our university, especially for international students. Once you arrive, the first thing for you would be to go through the Freshers Week, which is basically a few days of orientation activities where we introduce you to offices. We try to explain how the university is managed, what you have to do, etc. But we know that the information that we give you in that moment is maybe a little bit too much altogether. So you are matched with a tutor, which is a university tutor. So this person would be your main point of contact. If you have, questions, doubts, you can ask the tutor, and he or she will put you in contact with the right offices so that you don't have to, be too worried about being able to find the right person to talk to. So these kind of tutors, as I was saying, they're called university tutors. They can help you organize your study plan, understand when you can take exams, how you can book exams, why this session but not that session, etc., etc. All these tiny things that though can be kind of tough at the beginning to understand. But we also have academic tutors, which are usually people that are specialized in that specific subject you are studying. So if you have troubles, going through exams, to be honest, and I guess Aida would be able to confirm this later on, the main exam that creates problems is mathematics. So just so you know, but we do have people that are specialized in this. So if you need to meet them, even every day, you can just book appointments and they will go through the program with you to make sure that you understand everything and that you can overcome the obstacle. Of course, you can also talk to the faculty. As we were saying, they're always available. But in case you need, a more one-on-one support, more like a daily kind of support, the tutors are there for you. One of the key concepts at LUISS is the concept of sustainability. So if you guys will come to Rome and decide to have a campus tour, you will see that our university has a zero plastic policy. So on campus, there is nothing made of plastic. And we have also few cars that are available for students. So they're just there, they're electrical. You can book them through the LUISS app. Of course, you need to have a driving license to book them. But you can take them, drive them around, no problems. Just, make sure that you bring them back because obviously they are electrical. At some point they need to be charged. But this was part of a bigger change that the university did a few years ago in terms of sustainability. I do not want to say too much about the canteen because this is obviously a very big stereotype of Italians just talking about food, but we do care about it. So I confirm that the canteen is actually pretty outstanding and, very nice to be in. Our programs are 100% taught in English, so Italian is not required, zero. You speak no words of Italian, no problem at all. However, we do think that it's very important for international students to be able to learn at least the basics just to, feel part of the country, the city, etc. So we do offer free Italian courses for international students. They're not mandatory. You can sign up at the beginning when you arrive. If you have studied a little bit of Italian before, you think you know a few things, you can take an entry exam so that we know exactly your level. And then, you take classes regularly and hopefully get to practice in the city. You can also be matched with an Italian student if this is something that you're interested in. And this obviously is something that we encourage just because so it helps you a little bit get out of your comfort zone of, your friends, and maybe get to know students that are studying other programs. And then last but not least, one of the, I think, most important services offered at LUISS is the counseling. So as I was saying before, me, myself, I have experiences studying abroad. I know it's fun. It's something incredible that you do for yourself, and it really helps you grow and change your perspective, etc. Sometimes it can be tough. And so if it comes to the point that you're feeling a little bit low and you are struggling with your decisions, etc., all you have to do is just let us know. We will put you in contact with a counselor, their psychologist. They can meet you a few times, help you understand what is going on, and then overcome the obstacle and get back to just enjoy your life at LUISS. A few pictures about the campuses. As I was saying, we do have 4 campuses here. The first 2 that you see are in reality the main one, where all the bachelor classes are taught and pretty much 90% of the master classes are taught. But we are very lucky because our campuses are, first of all, they're actual campuses. So it's not just a building on a street. They were villas owned by families that then the university got and renovated, but instead of just destroying the architecture that was already there, they decided to use it, convert it. And so it's actually very common to walk around and just find a fountain or a column or something that was, original from the original villa, let's say. We have gardens all around, which are very often used by students to just hang out and eat there and enjoy the nice weather that we're lucky to have here in Rome. I decided to put also a picture of one of the dorms, just so you can have an idea more or less of how they look like. They are honestly pretty outstanding. I mean, they're way above standards. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a university dorm, but when I was studying, they were actually pretty scary. So when I saw our dorms for the first time, I was very impressed. In reality, most of them were hotels that the university got and renovated, and this is why they still have like all the hotel services. So there is a receptionist 24 hours, for example, maids that clean your rooms, etc., etc. One other particular thing that we have at LUISS is the Sport Academy. So if you are into sport, you can definitely practice with us. As you can see, I mean, the Sport Academy involves students that are professional athletes. So as you can see, for example, these 3 students participated to the Olympic Games. Tortu participated to the last ones actually and won. So we are incredibly proud. So if you are an actual athlete and you do want to keep studying, but at the same time, obviously keep training, we can help you with that. We have dedicated scholarships for student athletes. We have dedicated tutors, etc. I mean, the structure is all already there available. If you are into sport, just, not that much, we can still help you. So we have several sports, definitely soccer, as you can imagine, again, the stereotype, but we do have it. And then basketball, volleyball, swimming, horse riding, fencing, rugby. So pretty much everything that you could be interested in. You can go through the selection process, maybe be chosen to join the team. And then of course you have to train with the team. Okay. So moving to the core part of the presentation, the programs that I'm going to talk about are all 100% taught in English, okay? We actually have about 60% of the academic offer, which is in English. So a lot of these programs don't even have the Italian version. So for the bachelor degrees, so we have at the moment 4 BA taught in English. all bachelor degrees in Italy last 3 years and give you 100 ECTS. So the program in economics and business is the only one that gives you the possibility after 2 years to pick your major, which can be economics, finance, or management. So if you are a little bit undecided about what you want to do, I think this is a pretty good program. Because again, you have time during the first 2 years to study a little bit of each field, and then, you know, at the end you can pick. And so exams of the third year, 100% focus on whatever you pick. Management and computer science is obviously a particular kind of program. Consider that all our bachelor degrees have a managerial approach. So it means that also for management and computer science, of course, that you study programming, and you learn some program languages, etc. But like the idea is to create managers, okay? PPE is politics, philosophy, and economics. It belongs to the Department of to the Department of Political Science. As you can see from the name, there is economics, so it means that there is a pretty big, quantitative component in it. So this though allows you at the end of the 3 years to pick pretty much any master's degree you want to do. So if while you study PPE, you understand that you are more interested into the economical side, that is something that you can pursue afterwards. Business administration is a very new program. We will launch it in this coming academic year, 22-23. But again, like all these programs are 100% taught in English, and Italian is not required. As I mentioned at the beginning, the university is very international, and so each one of these programs gives you the possibility, if you want, to go abroad and have an even more international background. In particular, I want to focus on the double degree that PPE gives you. So if you are interested, of course, you have to be selected. I mean, it's a competition, right? So it's not automatic. Not all the students that enroll in PPE then can actually join the double degree, but we do have a double degree with Sciences Po Bordeaux. So you can, spend 1 full year in France, and then at the end of the 2 years, you have 2 degrees, one from LUISS and one from Sciences Po. Similarly, the program in business administration has a triple degree. So this is the only program that lasts, in case you do the triple degree, it lasts 4 years. So you spend the first 2 years at LUISS, and then the 3rd year in the US, and the 4th year in China. And at the end of the 4 years, you have 3 degrees, one from Europe, from us, one from the US, and one from China. Regarding the master programs, so we really have quite a lot. So in the field of political science, we have, very many. You can decide to do international relations, so something a little bit more traditional. You can focus on Europe with policies and governance in Europe, or you can decide to mix a little bit the political science field and the business and management field and study global management and politics. Otherwise, if you are more into business itself, we have management or strategic management, marketing, corporate finance, and so on. And of course, you can also study economics and finance if this is something that you are interested in. Starting this year, given the pandemic and the whole crazy situation that we are going through right now, we decided to give students also the opportunity to study at the master level online. So if this is something that you are interested in, if you already work and you want a program that is more flexible, you could think about joining the programs in marketing or strategic management, which are fully digital. The double degrees at the master level are really a lot, but I just wanted to put few here to give you the feeling of all the things that you could actually be doing if you are able to enroll. So I'm gonna leave the floor to Aida, who will be sharing a little bit of information about what it means to be a student at LUISS.
Hello, everyone. It's such a joy for me to be here. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself before moving on to talk more about LUISS. I am Aida from Istanbul, and I'm a second-year international student at LUISS, majoring in economics and business. And today, I will speak about my university experience and student life. So to start with, I would like to point out the advantages of being a student at LUISS. So personally, I believe that what separates and makes the university stand out from the others starts with the academic staff. I think the professors and other authorized people creates a significant base of an educational institution. So considering these facts, all of our professors are the most successful and outstanding people in their fields. And based on my experience, I had the chance to have the professors that are expert in their fields, in their subjects, while having effective teaching styles, really effective, and great classroom management. Plus, they have always been very interested and thoughtful of us, which made it possible for us to communicate them really easily, both face-to-face or online. And our university provides us some special hours where we can book meetings with our professors or with our TAs, teachers assistants, one-to-one. So thanks to these office hours, it becomes also possible for us to go over the topics that are unclear during the lecture. So we became much more well prepared for the finals. So therefore, I can say that our programs and curriculums are designed by the best, and they are focused on educating us in probably in the most dynamic way possible. Mentioning that, I would also like to talk a bit of our courses. They are created in the framework of social sciences, like both bachelor's and master's degree programs are like quite interesting, various. And as I said, they're like the most comprehensive and up-to-date way. They are structured in this way. For instance, I am studying economics and business, and like alongside the lectures that I mainly focus on economics, such as like macro or micro, there are also subjects such as information systems, law, and accounting. So like receiving lectures with different perspectives in the department we have chosen, we obtain a whole new point of view. And this way, I think we become much more educated and be prepared to like every situation that we may encounter while entering the business world. And another thing about my course is that it's 3 years, and for 2 years, we all receive the same subjects. And then in third year, we can choose our major. There are 3 of them, like finance, management, economics. And we can choose between them, like depending on our choice. So in these 2 years, we actually get the chance to see what we're actually interested in. And in our last year, we fully focus on that. There's also something that I would like to add, that each of us, each student has a personal academic tutor, as Maria mentioned before, which is quite beneficial because we can discuss anything related to our academics with our academic instructors. For example, our grades or their like improvements. They provide us with suggestions for how to follow the issues we're missing, and they help us to put them into practice. They also know what we're actually interested in because we make like several meetings with them one-to-one, and they show tendency in the disciplines in which we excel. They also help us to discover the internships that are right for us, so it's really fruitful. Apart from our mandatory lessons, LUISS offers us the chance to take extracurricular courses that helps us for our self-improvement, personal growth, and like develop our skills. For example, there's this body language and presentation course that is actually focused on to train us for like public speaking, which is, I think it's really important. There's also like advanced Excel courses, and they're all free. You can join whatever you like to. Aside from all of the classes, there are a wide range of student associations where like any student can belong. There are several clubs to choose from, like depending on the students' preferences and interests. For example, there is journalism, volunteering, innovation. Like these are just a few of them. And moving on to sports, like I think Sport Association is one of the most popular and important organizations that LUISS focuses on. The importance and support given to the athletes creates a huge difference. there are teams for most of the sports, and each of them are like trained by professionals. Every LUISS team is well prepared, and they all have a strong reputation in their own field. Last but not least, in my opinion, another advantage of LUISS is I think it's great location. It is located in the heart of Rome, which makes it really easy for students to reach the campuses from wherever we are, whether it's the transportation provided by the university or the public transportation. It is very comfortable for every student to reach or to go from the university wherever we want to. So what else I can say, like speaking of locations, I also want to talk a little bit about Rome and Italy. I can define Rome as fantastic in such aspects because like living in Rome, as I said, like it's like living in a movie set. Like unique Renaissance squares, monuments, modern galleries, like they all invite you to explore the city. And in my opinion, it's an experience that everyone who has the chance should have. The city actually has a unique international atmosphere where people all around the world and students from all over the world create. And I believe that the city's international environment is quite beneficial for the students, especially for those from like other nations. I've been living in Rome for 2 years, and I have never felt like an outsider because like Italians are very welcoming and kind people. Aside from that, for me, Rome is like filled with opportunities. The city is well occupied and active, I think due to its status as a capital. So there's like a lot to be inspired by. It pleases people's interests, and like I think it makes them enthusiastic about future. I mean, it worked for me actually like that. So everything I talked about had a huge influence on my decision while also I was choosing my university. When I was in high school, I dreamed myself as a university student, and I set my criteria in those times. And LUISS was in one of the top ranked in the field. And I also took into consideration that the university's emphasizes on foreign students, the opportunities, possibilities, its reputation, like post-graduation recruiting rates, and of course the great location were like the elements that influenced my decision to attend LUISS. So like this is my second year, and while I aim to graduate next year, I am not ready to leave LUISS. Because I spent the most unforgettable years of my life, like here in Rome. So yeah, and lastly, there's also one topic that I would like to mention because I think it considers all of us. So we all know that the pandemic has affected all of our lives in every way since 2020. And we went through terrible times and we're still going through it. And last year, when the pandemic has one of its peaks, I started LUISS as a freshman. And I was so sad about this situation because I thought I was so unlucky, because I thought like the whole lessons were going to be held fully online. However, we were welcomed in campus. So LUISS welcomed the first year students in campus, which was something very rare among the European universities. So basically we got the opportunity to explore the campus and follow several of our classes in person, with, of course, with all of the necessary safety and sanitary precautions. In online lessons, it was done as much as possible in an interactive way. And we successfully completed both online and like face-to-face lectures. So even in a difficult situation, we managed to come out on top. And speaking for now, like right now, the great majority of our courses are currently provided on campus, face-to-face and interactively. So these were the topics that I wanted to highlight depending on my experience. Now I will write my email in chat box in case you have any further questions for me about university and student life at LUISS. So please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much. And now I yield the floor for Maria.
Thank you, Aida, for the presentation and for sharing your experience. I'm sure it was very helpful for the students. I will just close the presentation in very, very few words about the admission requirements. Obviously, guys, I'm just gonna give you here as well a very quick overview. If you wanna go into details, you can ask Skylines, which is our main partner in the area, and they know everything in detail, so they can definitely support you with, you know, all the requirements. But generally speaking, we try to make the process for international students as easy as possible. So the application is obviously 100% online. You do not need to come to Rome or take an admission test. The selection process is based on few documents that we ask you to upload, mostly your transcripts. And then, of course, we need an English proficiency certificate. Only if you study in Italian, we need also an Italian proficiency certificate, obviously. We ask you to share an email address of one of your professors that we reach out to for the reference letters. And then if you have additional documents like GMAT or GRE, obviously, you know, it's a good idea to submit them as well. One quick thing to pay attention to is that we do have admission processes based on the kind of applicants you are. So if you have an SAT or a GMAT, you have specific procedures. If you are attending an IB school and we get a full IB diploma, we have specific procedures and so on. Every program has its own rules, let's say. So, you know, just make sure to get in contact with Skylines or with us so that we can tell you exactly what you need in order to submit your application for specific programs. One of the most important things, fees in aid. So the programs cost all the same amount. So all bachelor degrees cost 11,600 euros. And all the master's degrees cost 12,600 euros per year. The first ones last 3 years, exception made for the triple degree related to business administration, and then the master's degrees are all 2 years. Every year, LUISS has a bunch of scholarships for international students only. Every selection process has its own. So again, it could differ a little bit based on what kind of applications you're going through, but the idea is to give them to the most talented students. Every time we give a scholarship, we always give it with the idea of renewing it for the whole program. So it's never only for the first year, but then of course you need to meet certain requirements, have a certain GPA and a certain amount of academic credits. But again, the tutors can help you. They inform you in advance when you're getting closer to the deadline. You know, if you are not taking enough exams, we tell you. Here you have my contact details. Feel free to reach out anytime. I hope it was informative.
Oh, very much. Thank you very much.
Of course.
I'm sure my colleagues will join in straight away, but there is one question regarding housing.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read it?
Can you advise how to search for housing in Rome? Does LUISS help the student find a place? What are the fees per month? Is it difficult to find? Okay, so LUISS definitely helps students in two main ways. We can help you, suggesting when apply for our dorms. So if you want to stay in our residencies, or otherwise we have a real estate agency that can help you. So you just reach out to the real estate agency. They only work for us. So, you know, it's a very, very safe way to find an accommodation in Rome. If you share the apartment with other students going through this agency, you would only be sharing it with other LUISS students. So again, like it's a very convenient way. In terms of cost, so if you go to our dorms, the cost is about 6,000, 8,000 euros per year, per academic year. The only thing to know about the residencies is that they are binding. So it means that once you decide to accept a room, you're going to stay there for the whole year, because obviously we keep it for you. This is the only thing, but otherwise, if you go through the real estate agency, there is a normal contract. So you will have to give like certain months in advance if you want to leave. in that case, the cost depends a little bit on how many people there are in the apartment with you, what kind of room you want, how close it is to the city center, etc., etc. But on average, I think 450, 500 more or less is the cost per month for a room in a private apartment. What is the price for the campus accommodation? I can read another question, the same, I just answered. So it's about 6,000, 8,000 for 10 months.
Well, I would like to ask Ida, what would be your recommendation? Shall we advise the students to choose the residence accommodation of the university, or what would you suggest?
I would definitely recommend, because last year I was also staying in a LUISS dorm, which I applied in the first, as a first, in the beginning of August. So I was in the dorm which I preferred, so there was no problems. And yeah, the dorm was pretty nice, and there were transactions between campuses, so it was really close to campuses, so I had really no problem. But this year I'm staying in my place, I rented a place. But for first year students, I definitely recommend to stay in a dorm in order to get interact with other students and to be more social with other students.
Yeah, in this regards, is the dorm just for international students, or you can have some Italians?
No. Totally international. Both Italians and both international students can stay in dorms, which creates a really great atmosphere, because students from all over the world, we stay in the same place, and it's just so nice to be all together.
Oh, thank you. Well, it seems that you have covered almost everything: scholarships, fees, accommodation, programs. I don't know what the students can ask additionally. Obviously, we will send this presentation via an email, and with most of the important information, of course, and the students know this. Well, if there are no other questions, I will say thank you. Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you, Ida, for your time and great presentation. And as I said, looking forward to seeing you here in Bulgaria soon.
Hopefully very soon. Thank you for the invitation. It's always lovely to be together and share a few moments together. Thank you, Aida, for me personally.
Thank you so much for everything.
Well, thank you guys also for listening to us. If you have questions, again, reach out to our partners or to us. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye, girls. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.